back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Illuminaticongo on one of the best days of the year, 420. How you doing?
Yo, I'm already pretty irie. I'm already pretty high. Just from light. I've blazed a little already, so got my endocannabinoid system feeling optimal.
That's great to hear. It's an honor to have you, and I've seen you everywhere, damn near, and I've heard so much great about you, and you're across like 34 different chains from what you told me in the past. That's
It's more.
quite impressive. You said more than that too. That's insane.
Yeah, it's more than that. It's at first it seemed like it was going to be hard to keep up with, but now it's just like, oh, new chain I got to build with. All right, write the seed phrase down, put it in the safe, and jump in. You know what I'm saying? I have one of my best kept secrets. It's not really a secret. I tell people about it, but the SafePal wallet can actually hold like almost every coin. It doesn't do HBAR. It does have XRP, but more so like Apto, Solana, Polygon, ETH, even some other stuff people ain't even heard of, like Nervos Network, CKB. It got support for most of the things I F with. So it's not like I have to jump from wallet to wallet all the time. I have, a couple little good ones that can contain everything.
Well, I did not know about that. I'll have to look a little deeper into that. It's quite interesting.
I'll tell you one more thing. They used to have a DApp, decentralized, no KYC, connect to Binance on the SafePal. Binance had to change that, but then they put another one, and it's MEXC. So MEXC is that one that, they got all of the new low market cap coins, and you don't have to do anything but connect through your wallet. You don't do no KYC. So
it's easy access to the early intel, is what you're saying.
And you don't give them no information other than the wallet address to do your work over there. So I think that's one of the best kept secrets for people trying to do cross-chain activity is that SafePal wallet.
Makes sense. So, we could be here for hours, I honestly think, talking. And we've talked a lot in the past. But
we talked for an hour just to have a small conversation the other day.
I know. It was amazing. There's so much to be talked about in this space, and even outside of this space. It's just, when you find people that you can relate with, it just makes a whole lot of sense to talk to them forever, because it's like-minded conversations. But I really want to know more, and I'd love for everybody listening to know more. Who is Illuminaticongo?
Well, Illuminaticongo, that is the name that has stuck with my brand, my band. I'm a hip hop artist. I'm also a breath worker. I'm an author. And so that name has sort of stuck with all of my brand all around. And it's because I really delve deep into the concepts of illumination and our natural connection to that infinite illumination and to restore that in simple ways to people, not necessarily complex ways, but to simplify all the stuff that, like, that whole wall on the other side is all books, and over here is
impressive.
all books.
I love to see it too, because I want the same thing.
Yeah, and so I haven't read all of them. I could say maybe I've read about 70% of them, and then maybe more I've photo read. Like, there's a way to sort of speed read and photo read things.
Sure.
And then just having the books around, it feels better to be able to go to the physical references for the things I'm thinking about and get them from there. Often I can't find it online, but anyhow, to return illumination to the people, because instead of putting Illuminati as some group of people that's trying to take over the world, there are people who are manipulating things. There's groups of people who have ill intentions for control and domination. But I don't think most of them even call themselves Illuminati. They call themselves the World Bank, the IMF,
Yeah.
Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberg Group. Uh, they have, family names like
The World Economic Forum.
Rothschilds. Yeah, World Economic Forum. There's so many actual people and organizations, agencies, and institutes that we can call out and actually not just call out, but work to direct in new ways instead of just saying Illuminati, Illuminati this, Illuminati that. So that's
Yeah.
another reason I've returned that to the people. And then I'm Rasta. So Nati Congo. I don't know if you know any about Rasta culture, but Bob Marley is say, "Grow your Nati Congo and a dread not dread Nati Congo," like my G big youth. So this
Yeah.
is the Nati Congo, the Rasta, and so Illuminati. We just bring it together, Illuminati Congo, so that we could put more of a natural spin, more of a
Yeah.
natural illumination spin on things.
I love the twist, and it makes the most sense, I believe. And it fits you really well because, I mean, although it kind of has that terminology Illuminati in it, I don't necessarily look at it that way. You're the complete opposite of some sort of person like that manner. And, but I mean, even like, it's a fun fact. The World Economic Forum is a private company that basically runs all of the money in the world. And it's quite insane if you get really deep into all of that. But there's so much, like I said, we could be sitting here and talking for hours about stuff like that. But
For sure.
yeah,
And even one of our favorite chains that we work with, well, let's not call it a chain, the graph,
Ashcraft.
they're working close with the World Economic Forum in certain ways. And that could cause alarm to some, even if it's a little, I definitely have to slow up and really consider what I'm doing. But I have. And knowing that we have people like Lehman Baird, who I see his heart and his vision. I see like Patches and a lot of the people who are contributing to our ecosystem where their heart and mind is in this. We might be able to, as I was saying before, direct things in a different way. We might be able to be like a Trojan horse to the World Economic Forum. Now, of course, we're saying all this
Yeah,
aloud here, so it's not, no secretive thing, but it's more so just how the natural turn of events, along with people working towards these things, you never know how we could impact the overall situation with the World Economic Forum
yeah.
itself through where we stand, from where we
Just the
stand.
people. Yeah, it's true. I mean, because it's a much smaller sort of source of power. I mean, it's a big power. It's a big source of power, but it's a much smaller group. People can always overrun more people. It's just, yeah, you get the gist of it.
We can change the hearts and
Yeah,
minds of
we
people.
can. It's just a matter of doing so. And it's
Mhm.
also being manipulated from outside factors also. There's a lot of
Mhm.
manipulation in this world.
There
And
is.
it's quite it's just overwhelming to most. And a lot of people don't know exactly which way to go in a lot of cases. But you know, it's crazy to see. It's crazy to see how the world's come. If you look at what it is today and you go back even just to the early 2000s, it's a complete different world. And it's it is what it is. What we have to do is get the people though behind us, like you kind of said, and push it towards the right direction, in a sense, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we can do that.
yeah, I believe so. Also, it's just crazy. It's a matter of doing so. I look,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyways, how'd you find crypto?
I found crypto through, it was a friend long in 2017. He was like, "Man, there's this thing called Ethereum. You should get some." And I was like, oh, word. And I looked into it and sort of looked into smart contracts and how it'll be connected to like the changing of data ownership and things. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I'll buy a few of these. And so I bought a few Ethereums, and then I just kept buying them and had them in my Coinbase until 2020. And then this dude was like, man, I could show you how to, be your own private bank, do this and do that with your crypto, telling me all about NFTs. And so I was like, word. So I took a class with him, and then I made that's next month after my class, I made this coin here, which was the first NFT I made. So it was released in 2021, January 2021. And maybe it was the first physical coin released connected to NFTs. Maybe not. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. But it
World
was
may never
definitely,
know.
yeah, it was. Well, the world will know because we can check on chain and
That's
maybe
true.
find who else was doing it. But
Yeah, that's
at
true.
this moment, I don't know who attached any coins to that. So I had been about making my own money prior to this. Like I've printed my own currency and been playing a game of printing currency and attempting to exchange it for things of value, for weed, for hash, for uh, clothes, for Federal Reserve notes. I've exchanged it for all of that, and it's pretty much similar to how NFTs are. Something of value, an image, or what the money was. It had ideas of value. So ideas that could possibly, if you mastered the idea, multiply your income. And it would come with a book on how to do the same thing and print this money up yourself. So I would explain to people this game, and some would be like, yo, I like the game, and they would trade me for it. And maybe they would never print up their own money. There was this one little kid at my kid's school, years ago, and he ran with it. He took the money, started printing it his own, started trading it with people and doing the same thing. It was really fun. So to me, that was pre-crypto, pre-NFT exploration of alternative money systems. So it just made sense to explore it on chain, on graph, and see what we can do with a bigger community and a bigger market with pretty much a similar idea.
Today's episode of the Alt Kings podcast is brought to you by Expected. I love how you explained it, because I could just tell, you're explaining it to somebody who's not necessarily too familiar with crypto. And I feel as if a lot of us in just, this Web3 space have to really kind of dumb it down and simplify it as much as possible when talking to people who have no prior experience to crypto. And I think that's the way you explained it, it made complete sense. And so it was very easy for me, not necessarily knowing what you're doing, to understand what you're doing. And so I think that's great.
Yeah.
I love the coin. I think it's really unique, and it fits everything. How'd you get it created?
Uh, I looked for different places to create coins, and I found a place that somehow was like top quality. If you could see the coin
Nice.
in person, you would be like, "Whoa!" Like it's
I see
iron.
the
So
definition.
yeah, it's there. So Iron Chief, he's the only person in our Hedera ecosystem who scooped one, and of course he would, because he's a master craftsman of similar things. But so these are like a more mass produced thing. But Iron Chief, uh, he he produces like with this sand mold in the very hand touch. So but even him, he was able to appreciate the detail
Yeah.
of this, and I just got to give a shout out to him, because he's
Shout out Iron
definitely
Chief.
been, yeah, he's been doing great works for and with the community.
True that. And it's great to see various amount of, very skilled people in their own ways just actually taking their time to be involved in the community and engage with others and network. And that was kind of it kind of relays into my next question in a way. How were you able to network with so many unique people from so many unique chains? And like, what is your kind of approach in regards to networking and connecting with like-minded individuals?
Uh, I One way is, and I think is pretty much a given, is you just get an NFT. You buy an NFT that's a part of whatever chain is there, uh,
Sure.
and then you just connect that way. Now there's some ignorance in that because you might be buying, if you don't get any intel from people on the chain first, you might get a rug, you might buy something garbage. And
That's true.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've just tried to get onto the chain to experience it, and I bought some garbage that the art looked good to me, but the people behind it have sort of disappeared. And then I learned that further on. But pretty much the best way I found is to on Twitter. Usually is the easiest place to find people and who are connected to their project or to their art, and then ask them about it. And if it resonates, I scoop it and then start join the community that way. And through doing that early on, before it's a whole bunch of people over there, and supporting people who might not have as much support, you really build strong relationships because you're not out there following a hype train, and you'll get
Yeah.
lost. You'll just disappear in a sea of other people in that hype. But when you can actually connect with real people, form real relationships just by talking, joining spaces, commenting on, if people say something that resonates with you, uh, comment on it and build those relationships. If you see someone, for me, I look for people who are sharing content or ideas that are similar to how I think, and then I support them and I support that, and then I find myself being supported and having a network that way.
Makes sense. I think it was great that you said, like, just buy an NFT because it makes sense. And, even when you enter into a lot of these smaller communities, people are just trying, they're just trying to be involved and get engaged with how Web3 works and just each crypto, each cryptocurrency's network in a sense, or in our case, majority of the times the hashgraph technology. But it's, it's nice to see people trying. And when they find people who are willing just to support them in the littlest way, just by buying what they created, it goes a long way with them. And it can actually touch them in a very meaningful way,
Yeah,
especially when you're one of the only few who do so, even if they rug because they don't know how to provide utility. So, I mean, that alone goes a long way and
it's
is
true.
able to impact somebody exponentially, I believe.
It's true, and we don't know the speculative future of these things. Anyhow, there may be
Yeah.
a day when some of these oldest things, the first NFTs created on these chains, are just somewhat of collectors' items, and if they're not, we have them as our own memorabilia of our time there. It's There's so many ways we can extract value from whatever we're doing, uh, or you could look at it another way and depreciate the value. It depends on your mindset.
It goes
uh,
both ways.
yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a reason to you. Sometimes you have to be like, yo, I've been buying too many rugs. I've been buying too much garbage. I need to slow down and really, it's not sustainable
Yeah.
for me. So it's not just throw money at everything, but just weigh out where can you find value for yourself now, monetarily, maybe aesthetically, and how can you provide value for others in a similar way.
Yeah, that's great. I think the same way, to be honest with you. And it really comes down to mindset because I think your mindset is your whole mentality at the end of the day. Whatever way you think is going to be the way you reflect and you output into the world. If you think negatively all the time, you're going to be basically receiving all negative back because that's how you think and that's how you feel. But if you think with an optimistic, open mindset where you're not necessarily, you're just accepting. You're accepting of what's coming, and regardless of what happens, you'll bounce back. That's what I look at it like. You know, regardless of
That's it.
regardless of what negativity comes to you and attracts to you in whatever manners, you will bounce back from it. And it's not like you're attracting it. You know, I mean, shit happens and life happens at the end of the day. And we're
Hmm.
not going to be able to always, have the
Right.
perfect life, but you do what you can. You figure everything out. Human nature is to figure shit out, I believe. And excuse my language, it's
Yeah.
just the the greater scheme of things, I believe. I don't know. I'm just kind
Yeah.
of going on to it. But you're a man of a lot of knowledge, I believe. You see the bookshelf behind you and the many bookshelves you've spoken about. What kind of books have you wrote in the past?
So I wrote 6 books. The first one uh, was about breathing and rainbow body, our aura, and ways to enjoy our life all the time through the context that we choose to see it through and through the breath. Then I wrote a book about using poison in the city, using overpopulation and the drastic situation in the city as somewhat like a spiritual path. There's this book is called Urban Aghori. There's people in India named Aghori who are they're holy people. Uh, they're saints, but they do the most I would say taboo type of things. Like so, bodies sometimes are found floating down the river Ganga and the Ganges River, and that got there's numerous reasons, but that it
Sure.
may have happened. But the people who are a part of this, they're like vultures. They take dead bodies and they do rituals with them. They do meditations with these dead bodies. They even will eat dead bodies of humans, which is you know quite horrid. It seems like you could get sick from doing such things, but they do it, and they they do it as a spiritual practice in order to they're called aghora means no fear. So the word horror, like in horror movies, that's like fear. Aghora means no fear in the Sanskrit uh, yogic language, and so their approach is to go to things that are the most feared and that are the most taboo, and to show that they have no fear with it, that they can sit with it just like it's a sacrament of taking the wine and the crackers, or just like a baptism. It's as sacred to them because all is just one energy, all is God. So I wrote a book explaining how we can sort of use the poison in the city, and the the metaphor of how they do their thing can also be applied to uh, our own lives, uh, for spiritual benefit. I also wrote a book called about words, all about words. It's called Synchronistic Phonetomology. So etymology is the study of the origin of words and the history of where which words are connected to which historically. But the way that when words sound similar but have no historical connection, often that's overlooked as just, oh, well, that's just folklore etymology. There's no real connection historically. And that may be true, but there are connections through cymatics, through the sound that creates a certain shape every time, because that particular sound and frequency is going to create a shape
Yeah.
uh, based upon its the way it's vibrating. That's cymatics. And so if you're saying the word hear, like I can hear, it's
Yeah.
going to create the same shape frequency as the word here, as being here. And there has to be some, if it's going to create a similar shape in the world of frequency, then there has to be some significance there. So the book touches on things like that. It's called synchronistic phonetomology. So that synchronicity, that's when things are aligned, and gnosis is inner knowledge. So that's gaining some inner wisdom or inner knowledge and inner knowing through when there's some type of alignment or synchronicities happening. So it's a book about grammar and the
It's a
occult
very smart book
origins
about grammar.
of grammar. Yeah, I
Yeah.
asked a thank you. I asked AI about it. I said, "What is synchronistic phonetomology?" And they said it's a new branch of linguistics that's very important for understanding language. I think they were just humoring me. They probably wanted to stroke my ego, but I felt very. I felt like, oh, okay, AI knows I'm doing something
AI is taking over.
significant.
That's what's happening. But I think that book's amazing because a lot of cases people aren't too. I mean, it's more than just. I mean, people aren't like the here situation. It makes so much sense with how it's like how it's spoken, and people aren't sometimes aware of the meaning behind both, and it goes for a lot of other words as well. And so I think that making that connection between both, and I'm not exactly sure what you exactly do within the. I get it. I have a base underlying of what you do within the book, but I'd love to see it someday. Eventually, is it like can I purchase it anywhere or
Yeah, it's on Amazon and all the places you might look for books.
good deal?
It's
I'll check it out then.
it's one. Yeah, it's the way I preface it is that none of this is to form a belief system. None of it is to provide a meaning to someone else from someone else of the meaning of something. It's for you to find meaning
Sure.
in what these connections mean, because if someone else is providing you the meaning, then you're just going back to the same loop of believing what someone else. But when you can find how a word resonates for you and why that word resonates for you, like even the word love, the word love gets played out. It's used so often, or especially in our space, community. These words get uh, drained of some of the strength they might have. And to sit with a word for a little longer, to see what it means to us, to see why we're going to use those words is important, because there's no reason to speak other than creating magic. It's words and language in its original. You look at runes, look at Hebrew, look at all of the ancient languages. Their original purpose was all for magic. The hieroglyphics, it was all for spells, and spelling. You may have heard that when you're writing, uh, when you're spelling, your magic spelling, but there's more to it. There's when you're writing, you heard of magic rites or rituals or the holy writ? The holy writ is the authority, uh, and authority has the word author in it.
It
So
does.
that's
Mhm.
again the writer, and we can go for a minute on to really understand why how we speak and think and what we write and affirm has impact magically, and there's really no reason to speak unless you want to evoke a reality in and create something. So a lot of speech is frivolous, and not just frivolous, it's counterproductive to what we are looking to do, because we're actually creating realities with our speech, and oftentimes it goes unnoticed, unconscious. Speaking of which, I'm going to create a reality with this chalice right now. It's 420.
Happy
We always
420.
pray. Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah.
always pray and give thanks before we blaze. So we give thanks for the alt kings. We give thanks for our crypto space and for peer to peer exchange, for our ability to really build with the people and bring power to the people, possibly again through these new technologies and the community and the family that's here, opening their hearts and minds to build new technology, to build new avenues and pathways of our success. We're thankful for the inspiration in our life that's keeping us healthy, strong, healing us, repairing us, helping us forgive and get stronger every day. May these herbs expand our lungs, our mind, our hearts. Om Namah Shivaya. Ja Rastafari.
You're the man. You are the man. Illuminati Congo for you all. That's amazing. Smoke weed every day. Now I'm playing. Love it. Happy 420. That's a great way to start the day. I got mine done earlier this morning as well. Uh,
Yeah, man.
it's a great way. I mean, dude, you're amazing to talk to. I'm so thankful to actually have you on and just be able to pick apart your mind in a sense and just hear you speak and hear your voice on a lot of different topics. And it's nice because that's what this podcast was for, was information and to bring value to others in any slightest way, and mainly focused Web3 instances with like project creators and founders and people who are developing in the space. But I love having, just in my eyes, you're a creator just because of everything you've done within the space and outside of the space. And it goes so much more than just a creator yourself. But the overall scheme of things, I think that's the easiest way to justify kind of what I see you as. And so it's just a pleasure to have you here, man. I'm glad
Well,
we could
thank you,
talk.
man.
It's not over
As
yet, though. I got plenty more for
Yeah.
you.
I made a post recently. Well, actually, it was a while ago. I just recycled it, and I said, "You take the C out of the word reactor and put it at the front, and be the creator." You know what I'm saying?
Love
Be
that.
the creator,
Yeah,
not the reactor,
makes
because
sense.
reacting to things, you're just, you're letting other people create, and then you just reacting. But when you the creator, you direct it, you deliberate with it.
A lot of people are
And
the reactors in
I,
this world.
I do have some NFTs on Hedera too. Just a few little music
Yeah,
NFTs. I've just put out songs bigging up the community, uh, and I have some more coming out soon. We're gonna have, because I don't think I've bigged up the Alt Kings on any of the songs, and I got a lot of
not
members
yet.
in the community that need to get a shout out, like Lady HBAR and George and Oreo, you know what I'm saying, JK. There's a lot of people who need recognition just from the community, who have been there building with us. There's also another
It's true. There's
project that
so
I'm
many
a,
people out there that I could name right now, but I don't want to just, pick and choose. I
yeah,
have love for
yeah,
everyone.
yeah, man. You know how we do in hip hop. We just be
Yeah,
throwing names out
yeah,
and
I feel
stuff
you.
every now and again.
I
But
feel
it's
you.
a project I work with called the Mr. Misters too. I'm like a small part of their team, and that project, just to throw a little out there about it, uh, they're working with IBC, the Cosmos blockchain, and Secret, specifically, the Secret blockchain on IBC, and Secret is one of my favorite privacy chains available, and they also have private NFTs, secret NFTs,
Wow.
and through owning the Mr. Misters, you're gonna be qualified for certain airdrop that's connected to that blockchain, and which who doesn't want uh, you know free airdrops? You know
Yeah,
what I'm
shit.
saying?
Arbitrum
But
airdrop was insane.
yo, I love that. That did me justice, Arbitrum and Optimism. But uh, I have to say, we're also talking with Hashport. I don't know how soon this is going to be, but when we get it set up that this secret to Hedera is doable, we've just created the first privacy uh,
Hashgraph.
uh, yeah, the connection
Yeah.
through Hashgraph. So if people need to do privacy for any reason, they'll be able to do that. So it's just something to keep in mind. The Mr. Misters are some of the dopest art for me.
We've
I
got a lot
travel
over
across.
here. They're beautiful,
Yeah, I
man.
travel across chains, and it's some of the dopest across all my chains. So just based on the art, I got them. But if you want to be like, I'm feeling like starting to scoop a few of them just for friends as gifts, like people who I know who mess with Secret and mess with IBC. I'm gonna just start scooping a few for gifts, and giving them to some of my partners so they could be ready for whatever's about to happen with this Blizzard. I think it's called Blizzard Finance. It's like some type of, it's going to be the first DEX or something on Secret. So I don't even know. I can't give y'all the super alpha because all that's Mr. Minded. He's the one
Yeah,
working
I was
deep
about to
in
say,
contact
shout out Mr.
with.
Minded. That man is a OG in this space, and he is a true talent when it comes to his art. I was just
Yeah,
blown away by what he is able to pull off with just the Mr. Minded or the Mr. Mister's collection, and it's impressive.
yeah, man. Yeah. So tap in with Mr. Minded, you know what I'm saying, the arbiters. You'll be able to see what's up, what's coming if any of that interests you. Gotta give a
What are some
shout out to my family.
Definitely, definitely that. What are some other NFT projects that you like within not even just Hedera, but other chains as well? What are the ones that you really catch your eye the most? I'd say you can name like 3 to 5. Let's say.
Hmm. I like Uman's World of Umans a lot. I came in contact with her on Phantom, but she has stuff on Ethereum as well, and she's been at New York NYC NFT NYC with
Yeah.
these past 2 years. Like they've had her art bang posted
Wow.
on the big thing, and she's such a genuine and real artist in the space. So I know there's long term growth, and it's already been solid and profitable. Uh, what else? What else is there? I think the Truth Labs team is really dope. My PFP on Twitter, it has been left as that for a while, just because they ever since they did that blue check thing, you can't really change your profile properly and go through all that garbage. I've just left it there as that NFT, and they're the ones who did Goblin Town and also the Illuminati NFTs, and they're a solid group. I see them as being able to do things similar to Yuga Labs, but uh, that's all speculative as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
I,
That's
I
nice.
don't know much. I don't
Yeah.
know much about Frank and the D Gods, but and I don't own any of that. But
Neither do
that's
I.
like just from the sideline. I'm like, yo, it seemed like whatever that's about, homie is on point.
I've been seeing a lot
He
more
know
like a kid called Beast now as well, and what they're
a
doing over
kid
there
called
is,
Beast.
yeah,
And
they're doing
Hedera, yeah, Hedera has got a lot of people in it. A kid called Beast now. We definitely had a strong cross pollination.
yeah. That, and I think that what's that guy's name? Machiavelli, I think his name is. I think he's a guy who's always in Twitter Spaces. I can't really remember his name exactly. He might be that, but I feel as if he was one of the guys to mainly bridge a lot of people. I know he kind of made connections with Hangry as well as Panda and some other
Okay.
guys in the space, and it's nice to see those cross chain connections starting to be made because Hedera needs more of that. If we're gonna really scale to potentially tens of millions of dollars on a daily basis in regards of NFT volume, we're
Mhm.
going to need to really start making better and bigger connections and start really bringing, we have to ramp up the scale, like we have to scale in regards of onboarding, I believe, and really getting people engaged, like who are not necessarily just underground artists, but we need more like mainstream media. I think that's what we need more of is people
Yeah.
like Frank from D Gods, or just people like fucking, excuse my language once again. I don't cuss too often, but what's his name?
I'll give you
Just like crypto punks and stuff. Not necessarily them bridging to Hedera, but people of that
right.
figure and that stature within Hedera. And I think that over
Yeah,
time it'll come, but we're also building our own faces like the Dead Pixel Ghost Club and Hangry Barboons. But
we
there's so
are.
many chains out there. I feel as if people have too many options, and then it's hard for them to sometimes pick or choose because Hedera and the H Barbarians, we are a very sustainable chain, but I think a lot of people are hindsighted by it and blindsided because they see all these other quote unquote stable chains, and that you have low transaction like cost and fairly high transaction like times. It just,
Yeah.
I feel as if there's too many options for people to really make a quality choice and stick with one.
Yeah, man. I see that it's so far spread out
Yeah.
after ETH and then Solana. Everything is just spreading it all out.
Have you seen
And
Multiverse X?
uh, yo, not I
You
don't own anything over there
Neither
yet.
do
Yo.
I. But like, I don't know if you've ever
That's
seen those
eco, right?
polls. You've seen those, yeah. I think it's Etho. I thought it was the bridge from Ethereum. I don't know.
You
It's
said
like,
Multiverse X.
yeah, Multiverse X.
Multiverse X. I'm pretty sure that's Ego. That they rebranded their name uh,
Gotcha.
to to that or what's it called? L. Let me look it up right now.
LCX.
No,
No.
no, not LCX. What what were they called?
We've done
Weren't they
polls in the
called
past
like that?
though.
Weren't they called like Elrond or something? Uh,
Maybe. I have no clue. I just saw him come out of nowhere basically, and like, some people post like these Twitter polls in regards to just what's the best chain, and Hedera's been up against that once in the past, I remember, and it just like blew out all of the competition, and I don't know if it was botted or not, but it was just mind-blowing to see. And then I just started diving into some of these projects on there, and there's a lot with decently scalable and with high volume in a lot of cases. I'm just curious, it just seemed like it was so spread out, and it seemed like there was only a hand few actually like taking the multiverse X by storm. But yeah,
yeah, it is Ego. It is the ticker is EGLD.
gotcha.
EGLD. So it used to be that Ego, and I used to own it. I made a little profit on it and just sold it. Uh, it's one that I'm gonna have to get just so that I can have an NFT over there and see what it does, see if I like it. But
Added to the
I don't have
collection.
any yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I've only got one other question for you, Illuminati Congo, and I appreciate you taking the time once again. If you could do one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One thing for the rest of my life. I I don't know
If it's the right
how
question.
I
It
don't know
doesn't
how to
mean you
answer
can't do other things. So put it in this perspective. Say you have one thing you can do, but you can also do many other things, but you're just not doing those things as much as this one thing, if that makes sense.
it would be to visit all the hot springs and cold springs around the world that I can, and just be soaking every day, every other day in new springs.
That's amazing. What makes you want to do that?
Uh,
Just a lot of
Cause
health
I
benefits, I assume.
yeah, it's just relaxing. It helps me enjoy life, enjoy the
Yeah,
fire, the heat, the air, enjoy enjoy what I think why I'm here is to enjoy this earth. There's tons of other things I want to do and contribute.
yeah.
Uh, but if it was just not if this just the main thing I'm doing, it would be to relax and adventure, hike to springs and soak in them.
That's incredible. Thank you for your time once again. If there's anything else you'd like to leave out on, now's the time to do so. Happy
Okay.
420, and yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Tate. Thank you for keeping the people in tune with what's going on, and allow me to share on here. I see great things for the All Kings in the podcast. Y'all consistency is inspiring. So I'm gonna keep building and learning and growing with y'all.
Appreciate you once again. And ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this has been the Alt Kings podcast, and make sure to go hit you some weed. Peace.